So you're going to be facing Paige Van Zant at the Prudential Center this Saturday, April 18th. Talk a little bit about that fight.
I'm fighting Paige Van Zant April 18th, and there's not really anything to say. I don't like to really talk about what I'm gonna do. I just like to go out there and show people. I know it's gonna be an exciting fight. I know it's the fight that the fans want to see. There's a lot of hype around it. There's a lot of hype around Paige right now. I always seem to have a lot of hype around, my fights, and so put that all together, and I think it's just going to be exciting.
How was the whole experience being on The Ultimate Fighter, being part of history as the first women's strawweight division?
Being on The Ultimate Fighter was an honor. Not only just because it was, it's the first. It was the first time. The Ultimate Fighter. I've been watching it since season 1. I mean, I only got through season 7 until they started getting old, but
right.
That's what's so cool about them adding the girls in the strawweight division, and they switched it up a bit, and it was an honor to be on the very first all-female cast, and then just the way they did it with fighting for the belt and going to the UFC, that was an honor. The experience itself, well, we all knew that was going to be rough. It's hard enough living with 16 girls, but then girls that you have to fight while you're cutting weight, sharing your room with your opponent. It's just all weird. The whole dynamic of it was weird. It's a very stressful situation, and it's actually, as an athlete, it's you have your little rituals and bits of comfort that you do to get you through a fight, and you can't do any of them. So it was an experience. Everything is a life experience, whether it's good or bad, or whether you would do it all over again.
How was the experience with the coaches?
The experience with the coaches, we were with great coaches, Gilbert Melendez and Anthony Pettis, and I was on Anthony Pettis' team, and I loved being on his team, and I loved his coaching staff. But again, it's hard to work with all brand new coaches and fight all these, not know who your opponent is till like 3 days, before you're gonna fight them. So you kind of just take in what you can get and learn what you can get. You learn what you can from them and take little bits and pieces here and there. But all in all, it's just nice to be around, around them, and then have that get to see their different coaches' fighting styles.
Right. Now, I was surprised by one thing. I mean, usually when somebody loses on the show, they cry, they go through this emotion, they become an emotional mess. But when you lost against, Ronda Marcos by submission, a fight that I thought you were winning. I mean, you were coming on strong early in that fight, and then you got submitted. But you walked away from it like, whatever. I lost, but I'll keep it moving. How did you just brush that off?
When I fought Ronda Marcos and lost to her, I think, you get so stressed out of, being in the house and being with all those girls, and, you already fought and you won, and then you got to fight again. You just kind of get over the situation, and also you can't, you have to win. I think I said it in my interview after the fight, you have to win graciously and lose graciously too. You can't, of course I was upset, and I do believe I was winning the fight, and I do believe if I fought her again it would be a different story, but I think it was hard. I actually pride myself. I have over 50 fights now, and I've never been finished. So sometimes I think there are those just like fluke things that, sometimes they just happen. Sometimes you just get caught. I don't believe Ronda is a better fighter than me. I think I just got caught, and I think in my head maybe that's why I don't know. I just wanted to try to be the bigger person after the fight, and of course, it was a wreck, and then you have to relive it all over again when the show airs, and that was actually harder than actually being there. But I think that the house just changes you, because you don't have your comfort around, you don't have your support system, you don't have your friends to call, you don't have your teammates and your coaches around, so everything is just kind of like, it is what it is. You kind of tap out a little bit in your head sometimes.
Well, you took it well.
Thank you.
Now let's talk about Saturday. Let's talk about your opponent, VanZant, who's there's a lot of hype around her, right? But you just mentioned 50 fights. You're fighting a VanZant who only has 5 fights, pretty much. Talk about that. I mean, the experience factor must be must be something, must give you a lot of confidence going to this fight.
You know, I feel confident going in there with Paige. I fought girls with a lot more experience, with a lot more skilled. You know, not trying to underestimate her or take anything away from her, but I know what I'm about, and I know that there's nothing that can more prepare you for a fight than being in there 50 times. You know, I think experience alone could be the deciding factor in this fight.
What are your thoughts of her? I mean, I know you guys are having lunch today. You're sitting next to her.
My thoughts on the fight are, you know, it's business. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to do my thing, but I'll tell you one thing. At the end of the fight, that's me.
So anything you want to say to your fans before we go here?
That's it.
Thank you.